Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My dear children, today is the continuity of plant reproduction. In the plant reproduction, we are going to speak regarding the heading called fertilization. Right? So, in the case of fertilization, the actual fertilization is the male gamete in the pollen cell fusing with the female gamete, or its name is ovum, and making a zygote. That is the actual fertilization, right? So after pollination, we have to understand after pollination, fertilization should take place. Okay, so here in the fertilization process, the most important portion I am going to explain here. First of all, after fertilization, the pollen will be staying on the stigma. So this is stigma, and this is pollen, right? In the stigma, there will be a sugary solution. On the stigma, there will be a sugary solution. Stimulated by this sugary solution, pollen will start to grow out. When the pollen is growing, from the pollen, a tube will be growing like this. And this tube is called pollen tube. Inside the pollen tube, you can notice two nuclei. They are the male gametes. They are the male gametes. They are male nuclei. Okay. So this pollen tube is going to grow through the style. Through the style, this pollen tube is growing like this. Okay, like this. Finally, it will go into the, if this is the ovary, in this place, there will be an ovule. In this place, there will be an ovule. And inside the ovule, there will be structure like this. This structure is called embryo sac. In it, there will be an egg cell or the ovum. Okay. Now, the growing pollen tube will come like this and will go into this and will release the male gamete to this place. So here now male gametes have come inside. one of the male gamete will fuse with the egg cell. When the egg cell and the male gamete fuse, the output is called zygote. So this diagram you have to draw. This diagram you have to draw. Here we are showing it is going through the style. This is going to be ovary. Ovary. Inside the ovary, there is the ovule. Inside the ovule, there is embryo sac. Inside the embryo sac, there is ovum. Okay. So the ovum and the male gamete are fusing. When the male gamete fuse with the ovum, what is produced is called zygote. This zygote is a single cell. Okay, so these diagrams you have to draw under fertilization, the heading. Right? After drawing the diagrams, you can write this note. In this note, we are telling pollens are deposited on stigma of the same flower or in another flower of the same species. That is the description for pollination. When pollen grains are deposited on the stigma, it is stimulated by a sugar solution on the stigma, and that is germinating. Due to the germination, it produces a pollen tube. That pollen tube is growing through the style and reaches the ovule in the ovary. The male gamete in the pollen cell, okay, the male gamete in the pollen cell, here one word is missing. In this place you write fuses. Fuses with the ovum in the ovary. This is known as fertilization. Hope all of you understood fertilization. Okay, if it is a straight class, I would be explaining these things. So we don't want that. After fertilization, what are the changes happening? Ovary after post fertilization mean after fertilization. Ovary is becoming the fruit. Whole of the ovary is becoming pericarp. Okay, in a mango, the portion you are eating is called pericarp. Right? You don't eat everything, no, in a mango, right? Third, fertilized ovule. Fertilized ovule develop into seed. Third change. Fourth, whole of the ovule turns to seed coat. It has another name called testa. Seed coat has another name called testa. Other than this, sepals, petals, stamens, stigma, all are removed from the flower. But in some fruits, you can see the sepals are remaining. All of you have seen brinjal. In brinjal, you will see in this place a green color crown-like structure. That is the sepal. In mangosteen, you will see a green color crown-like structure. That is sepal. So in those fruits, sepals are not worn out. They are becoming a part of the fruit. So in exam papers, they will ask you, what is the change happening to the ovary? What is the change happening to the wall of the ovary? What is the change happening to the fertilized ovule? What is the change that happens to the wall of the ovule? These things they can ask. In opposite also they can ask, from which structure fruit develops, from which structure pericarp develops, from which structure seed develops. They can ask you in that way. And they can ask you what name of fruit in which the sepals are not getting removed and remain in the fruit. So these kind of questions can come to you, right? So complete that one as a post fertilization changes. Inshallah, next class I will, that means tomorrow, I will discuss regarding the rest of the lesson. Good night and good luck.